Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Flexus Lexus. I'm Milo, and apparently I didn't record this back when I was doing the build, so I'm going to splice this in real quick. But this is kind of a long video, but I do hope you enjoy it. Sit back and relax. If you've thought about upping your game with a lot of batteries, this is the video on a Lexus GX platform, Toyota 4Runner, that kind of thing. We're going to do a 100 amp hour, so 400 amp hour setup using watt cycle minis, a 3000 Renogy inverter, and we're going to finish it out with a nice two-part polyurethane poured countertop that's recessed into the back tailgate of the Lexus. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is what's going in. So we've got the 3000 watt inverter. We have the Victron battery monitor, Victron smart float charger, 30 amp. We've got the Red Arc 50 amp vehicle charger. We've got a Bluetooth 8-button switch assembly. We have a 12-channel fusing system from Blue Sea. We have additional C and normal USB power source that's going to go somewhere. We've got SAE quick connects for music in the back, as well as my diesel heater setup. We have these, which I don't really use, but I'm going to put one in the front and one in the back just so that I have it. I am going to put a large Anderson right here with my shore power. That's going to be where the Victron plugs into house current. I'm going to put my solar in an Anderson plug here. Here is the main wire that's going to run the 3000. This is massive, you guys. Look at the size of this stuff. It's 4.0. The lugs are enormous. Here's all of the fuses. We've got 100 amps per battery. We have 400 amps going to the 3000. Various sizes of wire, extra wires, connections. And then we have 2, 4, 6, and 8 wire for appropriate areas. We got lots of heat shrink connections. The first thing I've got to do is to remove this section behind the driver and passenger. I did all this before by myself, and it was heavy. All right, I'm coming out. All right, what were we saying? Now we have access to all of this, and the plan is now to shorten this fridge cabinet and create a space right here for those batteries. And space is extremely limited, so I'm gonna try to tuck these things in really tight. Always trying to improve, and those of you who know me personally know that I can never stop doing stuff, and I just want to make this look better and better. Maybe after this I'll do a walk around video because I'll be happy with what everything is, but anyway, for now, time to start cutting and measuring. I think the first thing I'm going to do is put the floor in here under with this. I originally did this just strips to make it lighter, no bottom, but I'm going to need to go ahead and put a floor in here. Either that, or I'd lose, you know, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, but I could put the floor directly on top of this. That might be what I end up doing, but I think I want to try to recess it under here first. Not the easiest to secure it if I do that, but we'll work that out. So these are the pieces and parts from my old, so some of the slide drawer and also the electrical area. Probably going to burn those. This I'm going to hang on to. It might not look like much, but those two holes, that's where 2 bolts go. And this thing allows me to mount a floor piece in here that bolts directly to those old jump seat mounts. Very similar. I'll show you the other side. I've already done this, and it remains independent of the box and gives a nice big floor for you to stack stuff here, and you know, you can throw some minimalized stuff here. I think a lot of electrical is going to go through here in the new build. We're essentially switching the electric from that side to this side just because my fridge cabinet worked out to be the right size to accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4 mini batteries from Watt Cycle, excuse me, their mini 100 amp hour. That's the plan. I accidentally recorded in slow-mo here, so imagine saw noises. I also have to take all this down and label these feeds because we are eliminating all this wiring up here except for just a couple of feeds. Everything is going to go to the aux beam or switch pro, whatever you want to call it, the cheap switch pro. To eliminate all this, it'll just be like a small wire coming up. So I've got to take everything down and label the wires where they're coming and going through. Got this old, not old, but previously used battery monitor that didn't really work. I don't know whether I didn't do it right or what, but it kept re-zeroing itself. And as far as I know, I had it wired properly. But I decided to go with a new one that costs a little more, that's more of a reputable name. You know, the blue ones that I keep forgetting. From Australia. The competition of Red Arc. It'll probably be in a label right above this. Alright, I'm going to keep at this and get this all out of here so that we can start with fresh new wires. Alright, so what we've gotten done today is all this electric is gone except for a couple of leads that I'm going to have to bring things back to from the new control panel. This is all clean now. The wires that were coming out of here to go to the switches are pulled. Now they're going down, and underneath of the cabinetry, this is where all the electric is going to come up behind the fuse panel and power source. Let's see. I moved the big power. This is number 6 coming from the front. From over there where the BC-DC converter was to where it's going to be up behind here. Again, batteries and then electrical wiring behind a panel is the plan, with fuse panel and other electronics that you want to keep an eye on right in this general area. So we're going to pack up for the day, and I'll see you guys in about 2 seconds. So quick update, we've gotten our 4 batteries, and we are trying to see if we can make them fit. It's going to be tight. So they were so tight that I'm going to have to stagger them, which so I built a little foot on the bottom of each of 2 of them, and that's where they're going to ride. So now I'm getting ready to try to mount a panel. Well, I'm going to temporarily lock these in and then mount a panel up here and start figuring out where all my wires and everything are going to go. I got so many things going on in this little space, and I'm hoping to make it pretty simple, but we'll see. So next we have bus bars, and at the moment I'm thinking here and there, and then we have fuse, just all-time active, like a fuse block, and then we've got our switch panel, the Bluetooth 8 switch panel, like not a Switch Pro, but a aux beam style, that's going to be out back up top to control all of my camp accessories and whatnot, things that I want to be able to on off. I also have, going in this vicinity, the charger. I'm thinking this might end up right down here for space saving. We've also got a Victron float charger, 30 amp charger, that's got to go in here somewhere. We've got our a shunt, and we've got a 400 amp breaker that's got to go over here. So all of our batteries are going to go individually to the bus bar hot over here, 1 2 3 4, and then ground side cold 1 2 3 4 over here, and that's where we will pick up our hot and cold coming back here to wire and power everything. So good morning, it's another day. And just a quick recap and an organization. We are building a 400 amp, 5,000 kilowatt power system. What I've done is I've shortened my refrigerator slide and created space for 4 watt cycle minis right there. Those are 100 amp hour minis with Bluetooth. Here's the back. We're going to have my controls all up here, including my inverter in this neighborhood to plug in to my induction cooking setup. Here's where the batteries are going to live. This is only temporary, just so that I know that they're set in there flush. My rear system, which is on the table over there, is going to go back into here and cover all of this lower. I designed a wire chase there that's going to shoot most of my electrical over to that side and low and to the back and or up here without it being in the way here. Basically, I just cleaned out the truck this morning and wanted to get everything organized so it's not a mess. And here's all the tools that I've been using. So we got our big crimps, which I've actually got another set of these that are going to be required for my my battery cable, the big stuff, and you'll see that in a minute. These things are massive. And anyway, this is all my tools and stuff that I am using. So, time to try to put this, and this, as well as a couple of my fusing mechanisms into this area right in here. Here's my hand for reference. It's about 21.5 inches wide and about 10 inches tall. I've got my negative side and my hot side. I think that's where I want them. However, as I start putting things in here, I'm going to try to make sense of it. What I'm going to start and do first is the larger wires are going to go in first, and then things that need smaller wires are going to go in after that. The plan is, all said and done, put a clear panel over this that is quickly removable, and it'll shield everything and keep it safe. So this is the bottom of where the battery's got to be, and they have to be staggered because of there's tightness, so the width of the top of them is too wide to set them on a flat plane. And I also want to put a heating blanket at the bottom to keep the batteries from going below freezing when it gets below freezing. So what I've done is I built this aluminum tray that is basically going to sit in here. I'm going to remove these temporarily, and then this is going to get glued into place. This is going to get glued right onto that aluminum at that angle, and we're going to set it below these wood blocks, below the wood blocks here, and it's going to have a thermostat which will kick in and out when it's when it gets too cold, and that should make it so that if I wake up in the morning and it's been freezing overnight, and I start the truck, these will have kept the batteries above freezing so that they can go ahead and take a charge. Since my little wooden blocks are at the bottom and I need the metal to go over that, and this little cover panel is designed to come out so that if I need to replace batteries or access them, I can remove the refrigerator drawer and just take this one panel out, and the batteries will slide backwards towards me. So right now I've got them screwed to that, and if I put my metal plate in there, that is not going to work. So this cannot attach to those and work right. So I'm coming in at an angle here, and I'm going to put 4 screws on the corners to allow removal. So we're going to attach this lightly and then remove the screws that are holding it to the 2x4 blocks. That way hopefully it stays right here. Okay, there's 1, 3, 4. Now we're going to remove these other ones. Alright, that square head is stripped. I need a bigger bit. I have lots of Robertson bits, and I know that there's multiple sizes, but I seem to have only the one. Oh man, this is a pain. Alright, I have another option. Take it all loose and just screw that block away by hand. So that's what I'm gonna do. That sucks. Really wanted that to not move right now. think I'm going to take a few minutes and hunt around for the right bit. Alright, I have successfully located a hand one with my house electrical stuff, and it is still giving me trouble. These stupid stainless screws, man, I tell you, it's hard metal, but they strip so easy if you're not careful. Alright, still struggling. Be right back. Alright, I have found it. And it tried to strip too. That's what I'm dealing with. Anyway, these stupid deck screws that we use for work are a number 3 Robertson, which is huge. I don't know why they make it so big. It just makes 0 sense to me. And then it strips out if you're not 100% on point using your weapon. So anyway, that's fixed. Let's get back to the thousands of other things that I need to do. So if you're wondering, I plan on just attaching this right on this forward edge and not back here, so that the metal blanket and the heating pad can go underneath of these blocks without me having to pierce through over here and potentially damage the blanket. So that's what we're doing. I think I just locked my truck, which happens every time I have my key remotes in my pocket. All right, secure that, and then the batteries are gonna start coming back in. I see the wood blocks are going to have to be shortened. Alright, I see a problem already. I'm dealing with no space whatsoever, and this is taking up like 3/16, which is more than I can allow. Maybe. I've got my other plate coming back in here. Now I guess if I cut the back box right here, let's do some math. These are not touching, which it looks like they're good. I think we can start going upward. They're going to be secured here and there, obviously here, and I'm going to have to build something here that's going to hold these all down next. Alright, so the next thing I have to do is figure out where I'm mounting switch pro, fuse block, smart charger, and vehicle charger. And I would love it if I can see the lights. So like this guy, I'm thinking about upside down in here, or it can't be on the sides because that's where my bus bars are going. Ugh. Everything is so close. Probably up top, leaving room for the bus bar somewhere like that. I must have a fear of commitment because I've literally taken all day to decide where to mount those two and this. And it turns out I'm just not going to have enough space for the float charger. So I'm going to figure that out, but it is not going in here. So we've got something started here. We've got power sources. Well, at least we've got our wires run to our two distribution centers. And now I just need to start running the bigger battery stuff out here. So we have a beginning. So we've gotten the massive battery wire in. We put an extra 250 amp fuse here for basically a power out if I want to share power or use it to jump the truck battery. And we've got our shunt side over here linked to the bus bar up top, and that big wire is going down through the chase and it's up ready to join the inverter up there. So that's it for the night. We will see you next time. Alright, so we're back at it today. I think what I'm going to try to accomplish, if I can get enough done before it gets kind of rainy, is pulling smaller wires that have to do lighting and power sources and stuff from here to the fuse block, as well as a couple things from up top down through that chase that's up there in the back. After putting the 4.0 wires into that chase, it doesn't leave me with a whole lot of space to pull wires, but I'm going to do my best to get 4 or 5 wires through there, smaller ones though, and try to tie them in where they should be. So that's what we're going to work on for a little while. One other thing I need to do is my cabinet slider is a little tight. When I originally did it, I routed so that track could go in recessed slightly, and it looks like I'm going to have to do the other side as well, because these new shorter tracks to accommodate the new electrical system in the back must be slightly different, because it's really tight going in. So I'm going to recess underneath of this one. That's another hopeful accomplishment for today. But we're trying to keep warm with my homemade rocket stove here, even though we're outdoors. We also put up some lights so that I have a little more visibility in here. They say they're calling for rain after lunch, so I'm gonna see how much I can get done and whether or not I can stay dry inside of here, which I should be able to, but we're gonna see. I'll check back once we have a little more done. There we go. Okay. So this is my old upper panel that had my switches and stuff and my gauges and whatnot. Switching over to some different stuff, so this has got to be all new. Up here, by the way, is where I store jackets, blankets, that kind of stuff, pillows, anything soft. Lots of space. From the front especially, you can see that is an enormous amount of room. It goes up right there and creates a lot of space. So anyway, I took this original one is aluminum, and I could do that again, but I've also got this like PVC board laying around, so I wanted to make this one a little bit more accurate, so I drew it about a ½ inch larger, and I cut it out on the bandsaw, and now I am going to begin fine-tuning the shape. So this one should be too big. Yeah, I've got to do a little clearancing. This end looks pretty good, and I'm going to have to make an entry for my plugs and my on-off, and then I can figure out where all my my gauges and my new switch aux beam switch panel goes, as well as some auxiliary SAE power and cigarette lighter power. I don't really use cigarette lighter power, but I've got so much going on in this system, I said might as well just do it, so I'm doing it. nice and warm, but we got storms coming, so I have to do a quick pack. Try to keep everything. I'm undercover, but it's supposed to blow 50. Ridiculous. Can't get anything done like that. Anyhow, I'm gonna pack up and I'll see you guys next chance. Noise is the wind. Sounds like we're next to an interstate highway. So it's not raining too bad, but it is still blowing like crazy. But I came back out and I've been working on the rear switch panel, basically. I decided to recess my aux beam control. This is for my water tank level, and this is a cutout to access the plugs for the inverter. So I got one coat of Flex Seal, which, if you guys don't know, is basically the same thing as Raptor, but in a can. I use it all over this rig. Well, the bumpers, I take that back. I had those professionally Raptored, but it is the same for touch-up or what have you. Anyway, letting this dry a little bit, and we're going to put a thick coat on it and let it dry. Howdy, partner. I know it's been a little bit. I've been working on this electrical build as I can, and I want to give you guys an update. I'm kind of closing in on the wiring. So here's what we have so far. We've got the aux beam, switch pro, and my fuse block. I've got just a couple more items to tie in here. I've got my red arc up here. I'm getting ready to put a emergency cutoff, and I still have to wire the batteries to the bus boards. I have a main ground as well as my hot coming from the battery up front going in right there, and I've got a lot of electrical going through here down this side towards the back. These are my two sliding drawers, and we'll go around on this side. This is the under back side of where the refrigerator goes. I've got this panel done with quick connect wiring that goes up here. Anyway, I'm going to start putting this back together, and I will get you guys involved again as soon as I have a little more to show. Just in general, me doing wiring is pretty much like watching paint dry. Watching me second guess myself and being confused on which wire I pulled to where. So I'm going to move a little farther along, trying to get this thing in shape to head to Daytona Beach this weekend for Bike Week, and then hopefully meet some of you guys in Charleston on the first weekend of March. So we will see how that goes. Well, hello again. We haven't seen it this clean in a while, and that is mainly because the electric is done and we are about to start putting it back together. Starting from the back, we've got the 3000 inverter, the Victron monitor, fuel gauge, and the switch panel. We've got our switched auxiliary out. We've got 2 full-time plus a cigarette, and then we've got USB and C over here. Those are on full-time. Let's see. Let's go up front and we'll give you kind of a detailed view of what we've done here. So we've got our 4 watt cycle 100 amp hour lithium ion batteries. We've got the Victron 30 amp float charger for shore power. We've got our main kill, turns everything on and off. We've got our 50 amp red arc driving charger here. We've got our temperature outdoor and the set temperature for the electric blanket that's under the batteries to keep that warm in the cold. We've still got 6 spaces available on our fuse panel and our switch machine. I want to call it a Switch Pro, but we all know it's the cheap version. That is full. We've got the 60 amp breaker over there for that. Most of the hot bus bars and everything are to this side. We have our Victron 500 amp shunt here, and all of the black bus bar stuff is on this side, the negative. So tomorrow we're going to put the drawers back in. I've got to cut a notch in the back of this slider so this fits for this is where a lot of my electric travels through to the back. And I also have some traveling through on this side. This is up top where we store blankets and everything. This is there's the 3000. And instead of a big mess of wires that I used to have up there, there's only a few now, and that is quick connect. So if I need to pull that panel down, I can do it in a matter of minutes. What is next? Well, what is next is replacing the rear build out, which has my tools and where the dog lives and where we keep our clothing and stuff on that side. So that's going back in tomorrow, and I think right now I'm going to test fit the fridge. This is the inside of the back, guys. This is where I can get access to the back or remove the batteries. All I have to do is take this panel out, and I can slide the batteries out from here by just removing the fridge slider. So anyway, the next thing on the agenda, if I have time before we push off for Florida, is I'm replacing this with a thicker, like a cutting block style, and it's going to have my induction cooker recessed in here. I also plan to bring power. You can actually wire in AC power. Instead of using these plugs, it's got its own terminals under there where I can wire in one, and I'm going to have that come out and come across here, and I'm going to have a plug underneath of here where that I can plug in my cooker. That's what I'm thinking, but if I can make it so it's hidden away somehow, I will. I'm also planning to chop the lower half of this gate off because I need every bit of clearance. I'm going to replace this panel with a flat aluminum panel, and I've got a full-length black piano hinge that's going to go here for the new surface. The new surface is going to be stained black with a gloss finish. I think that's going to look fantastic. So tomorrow we will check back in. Back up a little bit. It's kind of hard to get a decent view with this thing, but anyway, tomorrow we're going to have a lot more of this done, and I'll show you the progress when we get to there. And we'll probably do a final walkthrough with everything when it's done, and then show all the process of the build. All right, well, it's a new day. I have pretty much got this all back together, and I remember telling you guys I was gonna put all this cabinetry back, and I expected some help, but nobody showed up, so I had to do all this by myself. But anyway, we're done. We're starting to pack for Florida. As you can see, I put clear cover. Planning to go back and use little magnet tabs, so this is quick, but 2 screws is not a big deal. Everything's under the glass. I think that you guys probably missed me putting in the 30 amp float charger, shore power, Victron. Let's see what else. So this is my cabinetry. It's kind of hard to see probably, but we've got this is where my tools go. Then the dog ride's on top. Up in this area here is where my slide baskets go, and you can take them in and out. They fit perfectly, and when they're locked, there's no way that they can come out or flip over or spill. All right, so out back we've got control panel, water gauge, monitor, power. I've also got a GFCI plug here that can go for my my cooker that's going to go on there. Refrigerator's in place. 2 drawers for my cooking stuff. And the only other thing, well, besides the new tent, we do have this new tent, which I literally have not even opened up yet. I got it because it's super slim, it's hard top, and it opens 180. So I've got 360 view. I'll do some more on that one once I get it opened up. This is where, on the passenger rear, this is where we put all of our clothing and stuff, and most of my electrical is going underneath of here. But now we have a nice surface. I built this to create an area for storage. And this is from the other side. Again, you can see there's probably a lot of glare. I'll try to get some better video at some point, but here's our attic space where we put our blankets and pillows that won't fit in the tent. There's my fire extinguisher, which, by the way, guys, if you're in a Toyota and probably any other rig, this is a great little thing that I discovered. I used the quick release mount for a fire bottle, but I used the same 2 screw holes from my oh shit handle, and it's quick and easy to grab. I'll go back around the other side so you can see what I'm talking about. Literally give this a pull and you got it. It's out of the way, and man, I can't think of a better place. I've had that thing in probably 5 different places in 2 different trucks, and this is absolutely hands down the best spot that I've thought of. Hey, so real quick, guys, by the time you guys have seen this video, we've already been to Florida, we've been to Charleston, and we've also been out to Brushy Mountain State Park for the Southeast Overland camping event, which was a great time, by the way. We're just going to cut that and get back to the build on this electrical system. What you're about to see is me getting into the rear gate and building the drop-down table that's going to house the induction cooker. So here we go. Luckily I hit no wires doing that. Kept it shallow. Alright, so the plan is cut out this additional metal so that my new thicker table will fold into the door. So we're gonna This is where I'm making an aluminum square insert that's going to go 2 inches deep into here, and my table will fold into it. Going with black, since everything else is black in the truck. So I got my insert back from the fab shop. This is going to go in this space, and it's going to house the recessed butcher block cooking surface. So we're going to see how well it fits. So we're in there, but now I have to figure out how I'm going to fasten it. So what I'm probably going to do is pull this panel and find places that I can weld tabs on the inside, do nut certs, and have it bolt in when the panel is not there. So, but that's not a bad fit. This will all be sprayed black, just like this stuff, when it's done. Alright, so we have little mounting tabs all around now. I'm going to go back on the inside. I'm going to sand anything, all these screws that are sticking off, out of the way. And then I need to figure out some type of a hinge mechanism, and also some kind of a locker, but that can come after I get the hinge. Meanwhile, waiting for the cutting board to dry, waiting for the countertop thing to dry. But pretty soon I can scuff this a little bit and go ahead and paint it. Paint it with Flex Seal, aka Raptor. Anyway, here's where we are for now for my recessed cooking surface.
This is a new pan. We're gonna use new induction.
Is it getting hot?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's getting hot quick.
Ay, you want? It's not.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Tomato.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting. Are we gonna cook all?
Might as well. I'll eat 2 of them probably.
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Bring it. Because, like, okay, so, but I'm waiting for people to be like, I thought you got away from propane. You built that thing. Well, it's hard to get away from fire. I like having fire.
You only do so much, okay, guys?
Right. Don't be critical. Yes, there's a flaw in my plan.
Here's the cheeseburger.
Hey guys, well, I've got this thing all done. It's been a little while and I've had 2 trips. I just wanted to say that when I originally went to Florida, I had some issues with the way that the batteries were drawing, so I went back, I talked to some people, and I went back and I made some changes. And what I essentially did was, instead of having all my blacks go to a bus board and then to the shunt and everything, I was advised to go ahead and link them. And the reason I didn't originally was because it just takes such massive wire, because every time you step to a new battery, you're increasing the amp load. So what I did was I went ahead and I went with a 2.0. So if y'all remember, I have a 4.0 that goes and feeds the big inverter. But the main power is 2.0 linked 1 to 1 to 1. And when they get to this last battery, all of my negative stuff goes over to the shunt and around, and here's all of my input and output on the negative side that's being read off the shunt. Now, on the back side here, we've also got the number 2. Every single thing is fused with a 100 amp, and they are going from one to the other to this side and to a bus bar there, which ties into all of the hot sides from my switches and my fuse panel and out to the big inverter. So this seems to be working pretty good. I do have an issue with the Victron monitor not really reading properly, and I've been in touch with them a couple of times trying to get this figured out. I've got it listed as a 400 amp hour system, but it continues to read 240 amp hours, and it gives me incorrect readings. When I look at my percentage left, for instance, it says 60% right there, but my batteries are all in the 85 to 90% range right now. So hopefully we'll get that figured out, but I can Bluetooth and read the batteries. So not the end of the world. I know that they're in good shape, and they are, seems like battery 3 was doing the work when it was very, very light load, but they all kick in equally when I'm pushing 80 amps or 1,000 watts when I'm cooking. Which, by the way, the cooker worked really well. After all said and done, I did have to recess it, and that is how she looks when she's all done. What's the future? When we were at at Brushy Mountain, I realized that my Starlink works so well that I think I'm going to go ahead and add a TV, and we'll be able to watch YouTube and do whatever. But anyway, I know this is a long one, guys. Hopefully you liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments, or you can reach out to me on my Instagram, which is the same as this, Flexus the Lexus. We will be putting together some more videos soon. We've got Bike Week which is a little different than the normal. That's going to be us on a bike riding around Daytona. Then we've got a little bit of the Overland East that was down in Charleston that we enjoyed. And as well as coming up in a future video, we're going to have the Southeast Overland camping event at Brushy Mountain State Park, which I just want to say was really fun. Had a great time there. So, as usual, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. If you have anybody who's interested in doing a big power electrical build like this, hit me up. I'm ready to help. Anyway, appreciate it. You guys have a good day.